Today I will be discussing the question of whether neuroscience is currently relevant to what teachers are doing in the classroom, and can it actually guide pedagogy or support specific educational policies. Through the research and required studies of this week, I have found out that educators do think that it is important to know about brain function and cognitive abilities in students, and that educators are very eager to learn innovative methods to improve student performance through learning about the brain. During the research in one of the articles by Hook and Farah, I learned that a vast majority, up to 87% of teachers, rated neuroscience as important or very important on a recent teacher survey. Um, and one of the ways they thought it could help students in the classroom is to teach them about their brain. So, one teacher, an elementary gifted resource teacher, is quoted when saying that when you talk to kids about neuroplasticity and the idea that their brains can change, it changes the way that they think about themselves in a very sort of fundamental, profound way. I have also experienced this firsthand in my new school, teaching students about growth mindset and how their brains work. It kind of allows them to understand that it's okay to make mistakes and that their brains are ever changing. One of the quotes that I found really interesting in our textbook from Carrie was that your brain makes decisions in 250 milliseconds. I think teaching kids about that and letting them experience that, and maybe a science experiment or something, could really help them understand how many decisions they actually make in their school day, and to make better choices with those decisions. I also think that through the research, some of these teachers who were surveyed learned that giving frequent breaks, teaching about growth mindset, engaging in activities that deal with all the multiple intelligences through graphic organizers and structuring the lessons to meet the needs of those learners, was something that was really important to them. They also indicated that creating a homier atmosphere with the lighting and the temperature and the smells proved to be a success for their students. And this kind of relates back to what Eleanor Gibson was talking about in chapter 9, when she states that the brain makes very meaningful connections through the senses. And she mentioned that we do not just see, we look, and we do not just hear, we listen. So teaching kids to think like a neuroscientist would be helpful in teaching them patience and teaching them to, correct their mistakes and things like that. I found it really interesting that Carrie also touched on Gibson's research, saying that with enough practice, students can learn to feel the right answer and then figure out why it is right later, which typically goes against traditional teaching methods. But I think it's important for kids to know that that's how they're going to learn the best, is to make mistakes, learn, what they did wrong, fix it the next time, and especially with science and math. I do think that it is important for teachers to learn about neuroscience, and it also was evident that they are eager to do so in the research. I think that it is a trend that is positive and accurate at this time of self-discovery, and this time of students, thinking outside of the box and getting into all of these more technological careers and things like that. So to finish off, I would like to just touch on more about neuroscience and how it helps students think differently, and teachers think differently, because we can really sometimes get stuck into traditional ways of thinking, well, that kid doesn't look like they are learning, that kid doesn't look like they are focused, and it's sometimes tough to see if they are really getting the information or not. And so I think that teaching teachers about neuroscience, and that some kids actually are learning that way, and for it to help teachers build patience and understanding, and also students in understanding themselves as learners, can be really beneficial for them in the future. So I really feel like in this way, neuroscience can help build a bridge between tried and true traditional teaching practices while still incorporating the current research on neuroscience and the brain.